Good morning. It's not good morning at all, but as it's the first introduction to you with you today, so good morning. But as I go by the clock, I go by the time, it's a good afternoon. And so far, as I've told you that there are parts in your book, that is Democratic Politics Part 2. There are certain chapters over which you will be evaluated. Evaluated means for your CBSE class 10 boards, certain questions are going to come from certain specific chapters. Clear? And the chapters which are not going to be included for evaluation, that doesn't mean that those chapters are excluded. Those chapters will be kept for your internal assessment. That can be for projects or assignments or for short, small tests, unit tests, things like that, that we will discuss later on. But with regard to your boards, we have already done with 2 chapters. That is the first chapter on power sharing, the second chapter on federalism, the third chapter, which is democracy and diversity. This is not kept or not included within the part to be evaluated in the form of question paper for your boards. Later we will decide over that. So I straight away come to the 4th chapter. This 4th chapter will be again a part of your board examination, external examination, that is question paper pattern. So the name of the chapter is, this is so the words which I have written on the board, which actually is the name of the chapter. You see, these words are actually, these words are very important, but in some sense they give you a proper knowledge. But at times, whenever these words come up, the first word which comes to our mind is that some sorts of discrimination which is caused on the basis of these particular words. Clear? There are certain discriminations which can be made in a country based on these 3 particular words. In fact, as we are talking about a democratic country, especially this particular chapter we will be talking about India. Obviously other countries also will be included, but main focus will be over India. This is very unfortunate that in India, which is known to be one of the largest democratic states in the world, even today, discrimination of this kind do exist. Clear? So let me start with the individual terms. Gender. The word gender itself is a derogatory word, means it gives you a negative feel. The positive word of it is sex. What is sex? Is the It is the biological identity with which an individual is born, boy or girl. This is sex. It's a positive word. But when you make discrimination on the basis of these 2 words, it's a girl, then it's known as gender. Remember, gender has a negative implication. That means when a discrimination is made between a girl child and a boy child, we don't say sex discrimination, we say gender discrimination. From the particular word gender only, you will have this idea that this is a derogatory term. It has a negative implication. Clear? I suppose by now you will have understood the difference between these two terms, gender and sex. So when you go to fill up forms, it's given sex, male or female. Clear? It's not written gender. If somewhere, if you find this word gender, I think that will be the greatest mistake of that particular institution or that particular board, I suppose. This is a negative word giving a negative implication which is based on discrimination, although the actual word, the scientific word is sex. That is your biological identity with which an individual is born, a girl child or a boy child or male or female. Next one is religion. Religion is a very positive thing. Religion means set of beliefs, and these beliefs are what? For what? For providing mental and psychological strength to the people. Always. Whenever you find no answer, you feel like everything is gone out of my hand, then you know that there is someone above. And everybody, you know, we have a different ways of worshipping God. And these different ways or paths or modes of worshipping God is religion. So religion is totally a very pious word. But when discrimination is made on the basis of religion, it gives you a negative impact. That I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim. This riots, fights, conflicts, violence in the name of religion, that is not a good word actually. That is actually a derogatory word once again. Another one is caste. Caste is a social status of a person, social status. That is, within most of the religions of the world, you know, there is an internal division. And this internal division or status is known as caste. Clear? Like we say higher caste, lower castes. So when we say high, when we say low, what are we doing? We are creating a line. We are creating a line between these two groups. One is high. High means privileged. Low means someone who belongs to a lower category. That means that person or that particular group does not enjoy this facility. Many groups you have heard about. If you go to the Vedic history of India, you find that in India there were 4 kinds of castes. Caste system existed, or the Varna system, as you have learnt about. The Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas and the Shudras. You have learnt about what kind of treatment the Shudras used to get from the higher castes. Clear? So this is the social status provided to a person. Remember, these are all artificial. These are not with which a person is born with. None of the terms, gender, religion or caste. Sex is with which you are born. Gender is not with which you are born. It is artificial, it is created by man. These are all terms which create discrimination, which creates barriers amongst human beings, and it stops one group from moving forward. All the facilities are enjoyed by particular groups, and the other groups are actually debarred of it, deprived of it. So first of all, we'll start with gender. So as I've just told you, when I've explained each and every word from the name of the chapter itself, I've told you that all 3 words are derogatory in nature, in the sense that they are artificial. They have been created by human beings in the society so that one group gets privileged and the other group becomes deprived. Clear? So if they are artificial, if they are created by man, so we can also overcome them. First thing, which is gender. In India, you know, this gender discrimination based on It is very, very common. Very common. You know, in India, there is a, not in India, even in some of the Asian countries also, you find that there is a belief that a girl child, when a boy child is born, it is welcomed with open arms. But in many parts of India, we have heard about that after getting to know that there's a girl child in the womb of the mother, it is either killed there or it is aborted. That means you can understand that when a girl child is born, how unwelcomed she is. And there are histories where there are instances, you have heard about them, you have learnt about them through magazines, articles, news channels, that so and so place a girl child was found lying without no one beside her. Or a fetus, that means from within the mother's ovary, that girl child was identified, that the child which is going to be born is actually a girl. Then what happens, you know, they either kill the child within the womb of the mother, or some other ways they are simply aborted, taken out, and they are killed and they are no more. So it's very unfortunate that even today, in today's era, when we talk about that we live in a modern era, this kinds of discrimination is being made on the sex of a child. This is completely natural, that whether a child being born is a girl or a boy. It is something completely natural. No one has a say over it. So being aware of that, we welcome a boy child. Unfortunately, we don't welcome a girl child with open arms as we do for a boy child. It's not only that during birth, in every field of work, whether it is in the society, that is within the society, whether it is in the case of education, whether in terms of you see that job, whether in terms of politics, everywhere you will find that the female, that is the girl, they are discriminated everywhere. You know, a girl is, from the very beginning, a girl child is taught to be remaining within the four walls of the house. Education is not regarded to be a priority for a girl child for most of the families. Why? Because they think that simply sending a girl child to a school is actually wastage of money. And if you go for an analysis, you will find that the maximum dropouts means those who have come out of the school before completing their elementary education, that is education up till class 10, the majority of the dropouts are not male child, they are the girl child, that is the female child. A parent is ready to send the son, spend money for the son to go and receive education, but not to the girl. According to them, girl, why to go outside? Let her be at home and learn the household chores, means household activities. So another place where she is not given that priority. So if you are not given that priority in education, how will a girl get a job, proper job? Because becoming economically independent is also very, very important. This is one of the reasons why women in India are still not getting that much of development which they should get, which they deserve, only because they are not economically independent. Next come politics. In the sphere of politics, you know, the participation of women is not that much, which should have been in India. Because if you go to check the population ratio of India, you will find that more or less the male and the female, they constitute half, 50% and 50% of the total population of India. But if you go and check the rate of women participation in politics in India, you will see that it's very, very low. It's very low. They are not allowed to go and participate in the political affairs. They think that politics is not actually a part for the women, and they are also kept away from it. See, so women, that means girl or a female child, when the time she comes into the mother's womb, till the time she is born on this earth, you know, she is not given those facilities, those advantages which she as an individual human being, as a creation of God, should have got. This is one of the reasons why some of the developing countries like India, you know, they have not reached to the stage where they should have been, because of the unfortunate gender discrimination practice which is followed in India. But there are certain countries in the world where you will find that women participation in politics is very high in those countries, very small countries, very small countries. But when you see the number of participation of these women in these countries in politics, you will find that it's very high, it's very large, especially the Scandinavian countries. The Scandinavian countries, example, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and others. You know, these are very small countries, although they are so small. But one thing which they require appreciation is that, you know, women participation in political affairs in these countries is much higher than compared to some of the largest or biggest countries of the world. So this is the first aspect of discrimination, unfortunate discrimination in a democratic country of especially India. This is a very unfortunate picture why we have still not reached that zenith of development, that pinnacle of development which we should have reached by now. Now for today's class, I will keep it up till gender, and the next two I will explain in the next two classes. Until then, be happy. Thank you.